Seltzer Kings
podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by United Airlines. When you want to make the most of your vacation, book with United. They're an airline that cares about your travels as much as you do. United is transforming the flying experience with Bluetooth connectivity, screens, power at every seat, and bigger overhead bins to help fit everyone's bag. And with their app, you can skip the bag check line, get live updates, and more. Change the way you fly. Book your next trip today at united.com.
Atherton Wing. Yeah, he's a regular, ain't he?
I've seen him before.
Oh, I never did. Not what I pictured. Young. Must be rich, too. Afford your rates.
I suppose. He has engaged me for several days.
Days? Boy must have stamina.
He does.
Well, fine. Is he letting you out at all?
Actually, we're attending a ball tomorrow night.
Tell me, do all the men there pay for their dates or just young rich ones with stamina?
Most of the women there will not be companions, if that's what you're asking. Perhaps the other men couldn't attract one.
It sounds like the finest party I can imagine getting paid to go to.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Firefly. We're just two boys watching every episode of Firefly for the first time, giving our review, our reactions. We're your hosts. I am Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
And today we're talking about Season 1, Episode 4, titled Shindig, directed by Vern Gillum, written by Jane, oh no, I thought this was over, Espenson. Espenson. Original air date, November 1st, 2002, to an audience of 4.28 million people. And before we get into the episode, everybody, we've got several shout-outs. Want to first give a shout-out to our listener, Gen X Professor, Gen X Prof. Gave us a 5-star Apple rating and review. Gen X Prof is not the biggest fan of Firefly, it seems.
We're getting through it together, though. We're getting through it together and, enjoying, making it a little more enjoyable for them.
Their first time around, they were like, this isn't for me, but apparently we're making it a bit more palatable for them. So thank you very much, Gen X Prof. And then we also received some sweet Amazon wishlist gifts from our listeners. PK, who got us some fucking protein. We are going to be ripped as fuck by the end of this podcast because we have core power protein drinks now. We also want to give a shout out to Tofu, our listener Tofu from our Discord. Tofu Lover, of course. It got us some lovely Monster Energy guava drinks, which people are raving about in Discord. People are raving. They're like, oh my God, did you try this? Yeah, I've never tried anything guava, so I'm excited to try those. We also got to give a shout out to our longtime ride or die, Slytheran, sending us some C4 creamsicles. Very excited to try those. I'm a big orange and cream fan. So, yeah, dude, excited for those.
I just cracked a creamsicle.
See, I'm cracking the guava because I have been curious. In my college, we had a sketch comedy group that I was in, and we did a sketch where somebody says guava like several times, like in a very weird way. And that was kind of like just the running joke throughout the sketch. I don't remember what the rest of the sketch was about.
And that's why you're curious about guava?
I've heard so much about guava from SketchUp, my sketch comedy team.
That was last year, right?
Oh, if only.
Yeah.
If only I was that young of a man. I just took a sip of it. Pretty dang good. Tastes kind of mango-y.
I'm going to say creamsicle. Tastes like creamsicle. Closer to creamsicle, yeah.
Is it better than Dream Float? Because that was our other creamsicle thing.
Oh, no, it's definitely better than Dream Float. I was thinking of the watermelon one. No.
No, the watermelon one was that's tops.
But this tastes more like creamsicle than the Skittle one tastes like Skittles, which tastes like Nerds.
Yeah, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
So those are some of the shout outs. Vance has some announcements, some shout outs that he's going to give as well.
Yeah, we got another gift from a long time listener. Been with us since the Boys Watching Girls podcast. Want to give a shout out to Katie CV, who sent your boys some mixed nuts, some fancy nuts from the Hilson Nut Company. And not only that, we have a discount code where you can get 10% off at hilsonnut.com. It'll be in the show notes, but the discount offer is Buffy Boys 24. All caps, Buffy Boys 24. And you can get 10% off at Hilson Nut Company.
Yeah,
and I gotta say,
some of those
pretty good
nuts last night. They were banging.
Yeah. Honey roasted pistachio. I got the Cajun cashews.
I got some honey roasted peanuts and they're like barbecue flavored almonds or something.
Oh, the smokehouse almonds. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. They were fucking good.
Yeah. Smokehouse almonds are great. So, yeah, check out Hilson Nut Company. And thank you, Katie CV. Made our day. Really enjoyed it.
Thanks to all of our people that are sending us stuff. Really appreciate it. Yeah. Super awesome. My fridge is 90% energy drinks at this point.
I don't even know how this got started, but it happened.
I don't either, but it's just a thing it's a part of our lives now. Also, please join our Discord. That's where we have a bunch of fun and lively discussions. We find out a lot about the show and what people are thinking about it. So join our Discord. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/Boys Watching Buffy, where we're doing Boys Watching Angel, which is that's an episode this week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is an episode this week.
Yes, it is.
And boy, oh boy, do we. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about that one.
Same.
But Vance has been magnanimous enough to grant me the power to pick the movie for Boys Watching Movies, which is also on our Patreon. And this month I've decided we're going to watch Weird Science. I've heard a lot about this movie. I've never seen it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to talk about from what I know about the movie. And that is going to come out on my birthday, November 21st. So we got a little bit of time before that, but be on the lookout for Weird Science on Joe Welke's birthday, November 21st. That was very, very kind of you to let me pick. And I had some options. I had several options listed. I went with Weird Science.
I wouldn't say several.
Vance, you don't know the how the sausage gets made. I had a list.
I reminded you of one of them that you picked before we started recording.
Yeah. It was. Here's a little peek behind it. It was between Weird Science and the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, which I have seen, but it's been a very long time. And you know what? I went with Weird Science, and you know why? Because it's free on Hulu.
Yeah.
So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Do we have any other announcements up top before we start talking about Shindig?
No, I guess we can do the predictions that we had.
Yeah, let's hear what we predicted. I feel like I predicted something about Jane not fitting in at a fancy party.
Yeah, we've decided to start doing Jane predictions along with our regular predictions. Okay. And I said it was going to be a party heist and that Jane fits in too well. And you said they get dressed up and Jane's not going to fit in and blows their cover.
Well, we got like half, right?
I'm not going to count my party heist one at all because it's not a heist. It's not a heist at a party at all.
They do go to a party.
They don't try to heist anything.
Yeah. Well, they do get dressed up.
But Jane did not get invited to the party. No tickets to the party.
Did not.
Yeah.
We should have replaced Jane with Kaylee, and boy, we would have been
We did predict, though, that Kaylee would get dressed up at one point and everyone would see her differently.
Yeah.
Enough of the crew isn't there to really see her differently.
Yeah. I do believe we did predict that there was going to be like a she's all that kind of moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was shaping up for it. And it kind of gets there and then doesn't do anything with it.
Yeah. All right. Shindig, let's open up with this episode here. So we open up the episode and Book has been replaced. Mal is now doing the intro. He's doing the intro about how the galaxy works, and you know, some people are the haves, some people are the have-nots. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. And yeah, so we open the actual episode. Which one do you
prefer?
Up.
Which one do you prefer? I know you're.
I prefer Book. Book's just got that Neil deGrasse Tyson. He sounds exactly like Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like if it came out, if I found out that they were related, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Like if that was his brother or something. Yeah. But anyway, so the episode opens up with Jane and the bar at Jane and the crew at a bar, and they're playing virtual pool that keeps short circuiting.
So lame. Lame.
You know what was the lamest part of it? Was when they hit the cue ball and it was like,
yeah. There's no reason for that to be like the pool table isn't fake. Just the balls on there are fake. But the sticks are real. It's just nonsense. I hated it. It's like, how can we make this futuristic but not make any logical sense whatsoever?
Yeah. I remember last episode I talked about my debate about whether or not it's too space or too Western or whatever. This episode's pretty Western.
Yeah. But then they're like, well, it is the future, so digital pool balls?
But they're talking to some guy who's talking about how he can upgrade their ship, I think, or how he upgraded his ship, but he like owns slaves. Yeah, and Mal doesn't stand for that.
There's a lot of slave trading talk in this, and a lot of slavery talk in this episode.
Yeah, and then Mal goes up to Inara, who's there. It's Mal, Jane, and Inara who are there. And Mal goes over to Inara, and he's like, hey, maybe you should go back to the ship, because shit's get a little bit ugly up in here. And she's like, why? I like watching the pool game. I like watching when you hit a ball, it goes, doi, doi, doi. And Mal's like, well, let me tell you, you're not going to like what you see next, because I stole from this guy that's talking about, you know, how he owns a bunch of slaves. And Inara's like, how could you? Petty theft? And he's like, he's a fucking slave owner. I think it's cool. He got all this money off of the back of slaves. I think it's fine that I stole from the slave owner. Is that cool?
This made me think, can't she have indentured servants too? Didn't she mention that? Like, when she came to rescue? When she came to rescue him, she said, oh, he's my property. And that's how she got Mal and Zoe out of that little town.
The Wild West town with the sheriff.
Yeah, the town with the malady. So I was like, okay, she works in a position where she herself can have slaves. Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know enough about this world to see. Like, slavery's wrong, they say. Yeah. But it seems like it's not illegal at all.
Yeah. They went way back in time, my dude.
Well, I mean, depending on how far way back, depending on what happens in the near future.
Went to 2000, I think it's 2514. That's the year, I think it is. And they went back fucking way, way back, dude.
Well, I'll say there's still slavery going on today, just not in the U.S. Yeah. So it's, and they're speaking a different language a lot too. So
that is true. Fair
not
enough.
To say that that's where it is, but I'm just saying there is places.
So Mal's like, you should get back to the ship to Inara, because you're going to want to leave before this guy finds out that I stole it, because before he gets another round of drinks. And then the guy, the slave owner, grabs Mal's shoulder and he's like, And Mal's like, oh, this guy can really put him down, huh? And then a brouhaha, a fight breaks out. Mal and Jane are beating people up. And then they're like, all right, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. And my favorite part of this entire scene is Jane off screen picks a guy up and just chucks him over the bar. That guy goes crashing into a mirror. And they leave.
Yeah, that's classic old Western style.
God damn, dude. Like, he tossed that guy. And then we get the regrettable intro song.
I love this theme song more and more because it's so hilarious. It's the funniest song ever.
It's so bad. Like, I keyed into the lyrics this time around.
Yeah, I did too. It's like, burn the land, boil the sea, can't take the sky from me.
And it's like the guy isn't even like, it feels like it's a weird time signature too. Like, nothing in the song makes sense.
But you can just add so many things. Because I was like just writing some stuff down. It's like you can do tell some jokes, make me slap my knee. It's open mic night on Serenity. Like, you can just throw anything in there. Like, it's so funny.
Get some bread, get some cheese. It's wine night on Serenity. And you can't take the sky from me.
Take my fork, take my tea. You can't take pie from me.
I gotta say, I think the corniest part of this intro is the last scene you see before the episode opens up, and it's those horses running through the field, and then just a ship flies in behind. It's so fucking corny, dude.
I will say that does tell you what the show's gonna be, though. It's gonna be a Western with a spaceship. It's cowboys versus aliens.
God.
Minus the aliens.
Yeah, so far anyway. But so yeah, we got we're back to the show, and Serenity's flying away from that bar planet with the pool, and Zoe and Wash, they're talking about how they're gonna head to Persephone because they gotta stock up on stuff again. And Mal shows up and he's like, hey, we're only there to stock up and to look for work. We're still fugitives. We're all still fugitives, but we can just park anywhere and walk around the city and there's no cops. And we're still fugitives. So we're only going to be on this planet for a short amount of time. And it's going to be fine. And then Wash starts to get like worried about how quickly the ship is descending onto the planet. And he's like, oh shit, I gotta take the wheel here. Oh God. And I thought that there was going to be some kind of drama where they like maybe crash, but nope.
During this scene, I was paying very little attention and just thinking about theme song lyrics. So my note says no idea what Wash and Zoe were talking about. I guess landing on a planet. But it doesn't matter. Yeah, it didn't matter.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That was basically the scene.
Yeah.
So then we go to Inara's room, and Inara is looking at a digital Rolodex of her potential clients or past clients, and it's people like sending out like a plea, like, hey, please let me pay you to be my companion, please. And then she hangs up on one guy. And then she pulls up another guy named Atherton Wing. Mm-hmm. And he is very flirtatious and he's very charming. And Inara agrees to meet up with him. She's like, all right, I'll be your companion. And then Mal shows up. And Mal's like, looking for some clients? What's up with this Atherton guy? What's his deal? Oh, who's he? Is he a good fella? Does he treat you right? And she's like, why do you care? Leave me alone. This is none of your business. He's going to take me to a ball. And then Mal's like, yeah, fucking take you to a ball, all right. Yeah, ball's deep. That's probably what he's going to do. Yeah.
Might as well be that.
Yeah, and Inara's like, get out of here. And Mal's like, all right, well, we're landing on Persephone soon. So, yeah.
Yeah, my notes for this is that the banter and flirtation between Mal and Inara is pretty so-so here. Not my favorite.
Yeah, dude, I wrote a note later on.
Oh, yeah. That's the later. Yeah, I got a later one, too, where I was like, I don't know.
Inara's acting in this episode is pretty rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty rough. I mean, everything in this scene, she's like delivering with zero passion, zero acting.
It's just not there between them yet.
Yeah.
I know what they want it to be, but it's just I'm not rooting for them to get together at all.
To me, it's not even that. It's just like the acting.
Yeah, I mean, I think the acting would help.
Rough.
I don't know if it's a combination of acting, character chemistry, and dialogue that's just not, which is crazy because Jane Espenson. I never
got you.
I don't even know. I don't know. I don't remember how we were supposed to pronounce it because there was so many different ways.
Same. But yeah, so Mal leaves. And then the crew, they all land on Persephone and they are walking around the streets. And Kaylee sees a pretty dressed woman in a shop window. And she's like, wow, wouldn't it be nice to dress up? It'd be so cool to wear a pretty, pretty dress. And Mal's like, why the fuck do you want a pretty dress? Are you going to wear it in the engine room? You fucking nerd grease monkey. And she's like, oh. And everybody kind of looks at Mal like, dude, why?
I swear, from the first episode, you would think that Jane was the asshole when it came to Kaylee, but Mal just says some stuff where you're like, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Zoe gives Mal the evil eye, like, bro, why would you fucking say that? And then everybody leaves in a huff, like, you're such a dick, Mal. And then Mal's like, come on, guys. And then Jane taps him on the shoulder and he's like, what, she get mad? What's up? What's her problem? And that's the clue that Mal's in the wrong. It's when Jane is like, what's their problem?
Yeah. Kaylee gets butthurt a lot in this show.
Yeah. But then Mal gets a tap on his shoulder and he turns around and he's got a gun sticking in his side. And it's one of Badger's men. And Badger is like, oh, good to see you here, Mal. Why don't you come to my quarters? And if you never saw who Badger is in the episode 1, this has to be pretty confusing.
Not really. It's just some guy. It wouldn't be that confusing.
Kind of give a little backstory while they're sitting there in Badger's doing fucking Jason Statham. I don't remember when Jason Statham burst onto the scene, but he is Jason Statham. Oh, there, Mal. Fancy seeing you here. Why don't you come on over to meet up with old Badger?
Maybe Jason Statham is doing Badger.
Oh, shit. He was just a big fan of Firefly. He's like, I like that guy. I think I'm going to make my whole career there for talking like him.
I wanted to go back to the scene where they're all looking at the dresses because there was something that ties into what I said last episode, I believe. And Zoe's looking at the dress and Zoe's looking at the dress with Kaylee, and Zoe goes, I'd want a slinkier dress. And then Wash is like, oh, hey, can I get some money for a dress from my wife? Huh? And then Jane goes, I'd like to see that. And I was like, oh, Jane is actually making a little comment about that. Like, we posit maybe that he's gay or that he hasn't been bringing up.
That was a joke.
Or that he wasn't just, he hasn't been flirting with any of the ladies that are on this ship. And this is the first time he's done something that's been like overtly leery.
Yeah. I mean, that changes a lot in this episode.
Yeah. It happens again later. And I was like, oh, so Jane does that. But he only does it towards Zoe. It's interesting.
And it's, dude, they act like Kaylee is like this ugly creature. Kaylee's cute as fuck, dude.
I know.
Oh, whatever.
Well, she's a grease monkey, Joe. She's a grease monkey.
Yeah, that's true. She's always one guy short. Can't get you a man, can you? All right. So yeah, Mal goes to Badger's place, and Badger's like, I got a job for you. What's the job? And Mal's like, all right, well, why do you want me to do this job? Last time that we were in business together, you kind of fucked me over. Why would I want to work with you? And Badger's like, well, because it's a big paying job. It's a man named Warwick Horrow. He needs a smuggler and he doesn't trust me. So I trust you to do this. And Mal's like, I don't really know if I want to do this. What? He's like, it'll be cool. You get to go to a big party. And Mal's like, fine. I guess I'll go. There's some like banter between him and Jane and Mal, and
there's a joke that really falls flat. He's where Badger says something like, "You need pearls the size of testicles to get an invite to the ball," and I got my hands on them, and then they all like snicker like they're fifth graders. He's like, tickets, not the balls, or not, and it's like it was one of those jokes that you're like, all right.
Yeah.
It's just,
and there's also that whole thing about where Badger's like, you gotta have a certain characteristic about you in order to get there. It's, what's the word I'm thinking of? And Jane's like, pretentious. Yeah, that's the word.
I will say this. Badger is offering wood alcohol and finger sandwiches. So he's a gracious host.
He really is.
Yeah.
I like Badger.
Yeah, I do too.
He's a fun character.
Yeah.
So then Mal kind of agrees. He agrees to go to this fancy ball, and we cut to that fancy shindig. And guns aren't allowed. They have a big, like, little futuristic thing that can detect guns that won't allow people to come in with a gun. Little force field.
Yeah, because it's the future. They were like, what can we do? Metal detectors aren't good enough. We need...
Yeah, they're like, fuck, everybody's in hoop skirts and dancing all weird. We need to remind people that they're in the future every once in a while.
Oh, and they definitely remind us with something later, which is never comes back into play, just gets talked about, and waste of budgetary money.
Yeah. My notes, Inara and Atherton show up, and they're announced. Everybody that comes in, they announce who they are. They're like, oh, and Mr. Atherton Wing and his companion. And my next note says, there's a bunch of prissy dancing. Inara sees a couple of old friends that are companions, and then she sees like a couple of men that she was a companion to, and Atherton is like, hey, wow, have you been with like everybody in this fucking party, dude? But he's like, it doesn't matter because you're with me, and all the men wish that they were with you. And Inara's like, well, yeah, I mean, that's not too hard. Yeah, I mean, look at me.
They would have offered a little more money. They could have.
Yeah, and then Athen's like, no, they all wish that they'd be in your bed. And then Inara's like, whoa, dude, a little fucking rude, okay? I have class. I'm a high-end companion, okay?
What happened to her talking to Kaylee about, like, I could pick them by the character. I pick my suitors by the character of their person or whatever.
I mean, to go with what Mal was saying earlier, she picked it based on the zeros in this guy's bank account.
Yeah, 100%. Nothing about this guy seems good. Yeah,
this guy seems like a real prick.
Mm-hmm.
But Mal, he goes to the engine room to find Kaylee, who's like working on something. She's got a bunch of grease on her face, and she's zapping something.
Generic space stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's annoyed with Mal, and she's like, then Mal's like, hey, come on, get out of the engine room. I got a job for you. And she's like, oh, God, fine. I guess I'll get out of the fucking engine room. Let's go do this job. Little does she know, it's a good deed. It's a good deed by Mal. He's finally getting her the pretty dress she's always wanted.
Yeah. You know what I was just thinking is that shouldn't he have taken Simon? Wouldn't Simon be an upper class? No. Isn't he like the guy?
I didn't think of that.
I just thought about it.
That's such a better idea.
Like, I mean, you can have Kaylee come too, but Simon should be like giving etiquette lessons to Mal. That would be kind of interesting.
I'm surprised he didn't. Well, I get why he took Kaylee, because he needed
absolutely.
to like apologize to her.
You can't take River.
Yeah, bro. You can't take Zoe because she is a little preoccupied at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to take Zoe, but he went to that door.
To take Zoe. He went to the door and they had the hat on the doorknob.
Yeah.
He heard the moans of passion.
They continued long after.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, he's got a job for Kaylee, and she's like, ugh, fine. So we go back to the party, and Atherton is simping so fucking hard for Inara. He's every guy at a strip. Come, babe, I could take you away from this life. Except not really. He wants to permanently put her into that life, but just for him.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I can take you away from this life, and you can be my permanent personal companion. I would love to do that for you. And Inara's like,
This whole premise is what made the episode fall apart for me, just based off of the little bit I know of Inara.
Yeah.
The companion that's on this rinky-dink spaceship with a bunch of, like, scavengers.
Vance, the ship is a piece of gose. Use the terminology, please.
Sorry, yes. Yeah. I'm sorry. I should use the actual link.
They put a lot of effort into not creating a language for this show, but also kind of creating a language.
Oh, Gosa. Yeah.
Why would you want to go flying around on that piece of gose?
Yeah. Language, Atherton.
Yeah. But Inara's like, I gotta think about it. And he's like, so you're saying there's a chance? And Inara's like, he was like, it doesn't sound like a yes. And Inara goes, I didn't say no either. I gotta think about it. I mean, look at all these old men that I could be fucking if I was with you.
I was just in a bar with fake pool.
Yeah. Would you take me to that?
Yeah.
I got to hear the zaps and zips of fake pool. So eventually, Kaylee and Mal show up, and Kaylee's wearing the dress that she had her eyes set on when they first arrived to town. It's a big pink, floofy hoop dress. And Inara sees them show up, and she goes, oh, gose.
They really were like, we're going to say this line so many times that you're going to realize it means shit.
Yeah. And so Kaylee arrives and she is awestruck. Everybody looks so fancy, and Mal is he's going to go look for this Harrow guy, but before they all separate, they take a moment to look up at this really fancy chandelier.
This hovering chandelier that looks like some random thing in a Buffy episode that like one of those key things that opens up or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? I was like, okay, this is going to come back. This is going to come back into play because they bring it up. You see it the first time, then they talk about it a second time. I was like, this hovering chandelier that they put money and effort and computer effects into, this is coming back, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yep.
That's
the end of that. Mal makes special note to be like, oh, this is all show. Like, I get why they would do it, but I also don't get why they would do it. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kaylee wants to go find Inara and say hi, but then she first wants to visit the buffet table, and Mal's like, go for it. Don't make yourself look like a fucking pig, though. I'm going to go look for Harrow.
I know. Strawberries are a rarity that we learned in the first episode, which people have not seen probably watching this. So they don't know why she starts staring at a thing of strawberries the way she does. But yeah, she goes over. She likes strawberry so much that she plays with one later, just holding it.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. If I'm Mal, I'm like, I'm going to the buffet too. Well, yeah.
Right?
I'm at the
Their
party.
whole thing is like, we got to eat food. We got to find food.
We got to fit in. Get a snack. Maybe he filled up on finger sandwiches at Badger's, so he's all good.
Probably did. So we go back to Serenity, and Book, Simon, and Jane are playing cards, and they're betting on chores to do on the ship. And, it's just 3 dudes playing cards and talking shit to each other. And, of course, eventually River comes out. She just starts walking around, and she starts ripping the labels off of some of the food. And she's like, I can't. And it takes all 3 of these gentlemen quite some time to realize that River's been like freaking out.
Yeah.
And then Simon finally like runs over to River, and he's like, hey, calm down. And Book goes over, and he's like, it's okay. We'll just have a couple of fucking mystery dinners. It's fine. And Jane is just like, we done with that fucking crazy bitch? We gonna get back to playing cards or what?
Yep. Big thing in my note was like, will this have a payoff?
Vance.
I was like, why is her ripping off labels on this canned goods? I was like, this has to play something.
It kind of does. Jane makes a mention of like, is she just going to freak out all the time periodically? She's so crazy. It'd be so distracting. It's so distracting.
Oh, he said distracting. Did he say that?
It's something like that. That's the kind of gist of what they're all saying.
Yeah, but the distraction later doesn't have anything to do with her like label peeling. And I'm sure the label peeling has something to do with her mind being whatever they did to her when she was tortured. Yeah. But it was just like, okay. It just felt like one of those episodes, those scenes where you're like, all right, let's get back to the party.
Yeah. Let's remind everybody that River's crazy and Book and Simon exist. Because they have not been in the episode yet.
Yeah. An episode where they're going to a fancy party and Simon would be the one that could give information.
Yeah. So we then go over to Zoe and Wash, who are in the post-coitus golden glow. They are sweated, my dude.
They are basking in the afterglow and moaning as if they're still going at it. It was insane.
Yeah. And, they just talk a bunch of flirty shit. Zoe's like, I want to go to sleep. And Wash is like, don't go to sleep yet. I still got a boner. I took a pill. I took a Blue Chew. But he's like, oh, you can't fall asleep because if you fall asleep, Jane's going to slit your throat and take over. And Zoe's like, let him.
It's some weird Jane slitting your throat pillow talk.
Yeah.
This scene, I was just like...
Well, then Wash is like, and then I'll at your funeral have to write a poem. And he starts like reciting a poem. And Zoe's like, oh, you're so goofy. And she turns around and they start like maybe hooking up again.
Yeah, but I was like, this is some weird dark pillow talk.
Yeah. You never talk to any lady it's talking about how they're going to die and you're going to talk at their funeral?
That's my pickup line.
Yes. Oh, okay. That's how you get them in.
That's how you get them in bed.
Oh, God. So then we go back to the fancy shindig, and Kaylee's eating a strawberry, and she goes over to start talking to a guy, and he completely blows her off. He just he no-sells her. She doesn't even exist, and just walks away from her. And she's like, wow, that was pretty rude.
Yeah.
And she sees a group of women, and she goes over to the group of women, and they kind of mean girl her. They big time her, talk about how her dress is bullshit, and looks like she bought it in a store. You got to talk to your tailor because this looks like it was store bought, and this kind of crushes Kaylee's heart because she's like, oh man, this is the dress of my dreams, and all these chicks they're just shitting on it, and they're shitting on me, and there was another. They're not impressed by the party at all.
Yeah, they said last year was better because it had higher standards or more exclusivity, kind of ripping her again. Yeah,
they kind of take a shot at her, and Kaylee's like, oh, this is mean. This sucks. I don't like this. And then some older guy comes over and just defends her. He just trashes the bully girls. Mm-hmm. I forget what he says to them.
I wrote this line down because I kind of loved it. He says, talks to the lead girl of that, and he goes, lovely dressed. Must have taken a dozen slaves a dozen days. Of course, your daddy tells me it takes the space of a schoolboy's wink to get you out of it. And then she's like, oh, and then walks off.
Okay.
And then he says to Kaylee, forgive my rudeness. I cannot abide useless people. And I was like,
nice.
And my initial thought was, this is the guy that they've been trying to meet up with.
That was my initial thought too, because he fits the description of who Mal is looking for. He's like, he's got a gold sash, and then that guy shows up, and I was like, oh, okay, this will be a Kaylee is the linchpin here.
Yes, Kaylee being the linchpin makes this interesting. That is cool. And I was like, okay, that's something that we've seen done before, but at least it like works and it makes sense. And then it ties her into it because now we get a Kaylee story, and then Mal has to like work through Kaylee and be like, oh, you're not just a grease monkey. You can do even more stuff.
Yes.
But
that is not the case.
That happens.
This guy is nobody.
No. Yeah, like so much. He came in, defended her honor, had a giant line, and he is a nobody. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I had the exact same line of thought. I was like, oh, okay, this will be fun. This will be cool. This guy matches the description that Mal has. And it's like, just not the guy. He factors into this episode not at all, except for that one moment.
Yeah. And this moment with Kaylee and the other girls reminded me of a book I read. I actually read a book at one point. The Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. In the first book of Mistborn, they have to go to a lot of parties. Then they have to go undercover, and this girl has to go undercover at these balls. And it's that same vibe where she doesn't fit in, but then she starts loving the dancing, loving getting dressed up. She came from the streets, and fantasy book. She had some powers and stuff too. So it's really good. I love the series. But cool. Yeah, the parties in that are so good. All the party scenes in that are great.
But do they have a floating, rotating, weird chandelier?
No, but they have really nice stained glass windows that aren't anywhere else. Yeah.
Okay.
Which look great in the mind's eye.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right, so then we go back to Mal, and he is looking for this Harrow guy, and he just immediately finds him.
Again, still, I was like, this is the wrong guy. It has to be the guy to talk to Kaylee. My mind's like,
Mal just goes up to him. He's like, are you Harrow? And he's like, yes, sir, I am. I was like, oh, okay. So then he starts talking to Harrow, and he's like, hey, I heard that you got a job. You need to move some stuff off world. I run a ship. It's a Firefly called Serenity. I'm the captain of a ship. I can do that for you. And then he hears Inara giggling in the distance. And Mal's like, that bitch better not be giggling with this Atherton piece of shit.
Like Atherton ever said anything funny.
Right?
She's a good companion. She's a good companion. That's their job.
Fair enough.
Laugh at his own jokes.
Harrow is talking back to Mal, and he's like, yeah, I've got some stuff that I want to move off-world, but I don't want any riffraff helping me, so who do you fucking represent? And Mal's like, I represent myself. Mal Reynolds, I have the Serenity. And then Harrow's like, cut the bullshit. And Mal's like, all right, I represent Badger. And then Harrow's like, I don't like Badger.
Yeah, I think he says Badger right away, just because he had to say somebody.
And Harrow's like, I don't like Badger. And Mal's like, look, I don't like him fucking either, but I'm good at my job. I can move this stuff off world for you. So you in or you not? And then Inara and Atherton come over to Mal and Harrow. And they're like, oh, fancy seeing you here. And Inara's like, Mal, this is Atherton. And Mal is like, oh, nice to meet you. And then Atherton's like immediately jealous of Mal and Inara's like relationship. And Mal's like, well, you know, me and Inara, we go way back. Do you mind if I have a dance with her? And Atherton's like, fine. And so they go off to dance. And Harrow says to Atherton, like, wow, you're a brave man. And Atherton's like, I know what's mine.
You know, you're renting her, right?
Right, dude? Well, he's making the pitch to permanently buy her.
ownership,
which is
or
romantic.
lease? Do I want to be leased or owned? Looking for a pre-owned companion. Only 20,000 lays on her.
Just slaps the top of Inara's head. This one will do you good right here.
All right, time to check under the hood. Whoa.
Oh, gosh. It's got leaky undercarriage. Anyway. So then we have what is, I think, the worst acted scene in this show so far. We have Mal and Inara dancing, and they're talking business, and they trade barbs about the manner of their work, and Inara's like, how could you? You're a petty thief, and all this shit. And Mal's like, yeah, but you're a whore. Basically, he doesn't say whore right here, because that is a thing.
Not here, but he'll say it later though.
Yeah, oh boy, yeah, he will. She's like, oh, you're like, you think you're so much better than me. You're just a petty thief, and you're a thief. And Mal is like, yeah, but you're selling your life away. You're considering selling your life away to some rich prick because he's got a bunch of money. Like, you think you're better than me? And this is in my note where I wrote, Inara's acting in this episode is fucking awful. Just everything is just delivered so flatly.
Yeah. This is enough. Yeah, I think they're trying to give her like an air about her, but it doesn't come across the right way because it comes across flat because she has to be a little more highborn than them. Or she has such higher status, but her delivery of higher status isn't. I think she needs to be more not street, but like more.
I think that she needs to be more snooty. Like, she kind of turns her nose up at them.
It's not snooty enough to be. It's not snooty enough to like be fun snooty the way she is. Like a Frasier, for instance. Like if she was like a snooty Frasier type and like, oh, this is what we're having, blah blah blah. Like to a point where it's like, man, you're such a pompous whatever. But she's also not grounded enough to be like, oh, I can see you fitting in with this group because you're down for like normal things.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's in a weird no man's land with this character.
Yeah, because I feel like she does need to have that kind of street smart intuition type of stuff, but also have an air of like kind of arrogance about her.
Like it's kind of like how Mal has I used to be a general, but now I'm just a scavenger. Like not a scavenger, but like it's a, smuggler type person.
Han Solo.
So he has that in between of like honor and just being such a jerk.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have. She's like on this ship that no other companion would ever be caught dead on.
Yeah.
But her reasoning is just like, yeah, I just like being on this ship. I guess I like being abused by Mal verbally.
Yeah. So they have this little like, test of wits while they're doing their prissy, 1800s dancing. Yeah, they're a little hand to hand, and then one hand behind the back, just stepping. Mm-hmm. Like, how did we go back to this in the year 2500? Like, how did they go back to this? Why is this the choice?
Because China took over, right? And then they incorporated all of the Chinese dancing that is that European dancing style that was all the craze in China.
Yeah. So then we go over to Kaylee.
That would have been so good if it was a full-on like China, like those like Chinese dancing events and stuff, like those flyers that we get all the time in LA.
Shen Yun?
Yeah.
Like a fucking Shen Yun.
If it was just something like over the top, if it was like an over the top, like a Beijing Olympics like opening ceremony type thing.
Dude, when I lived in New York, I used to get those fucking Shen Yun flyers and see ads for it everywhere. And I always used to joke with my girlfriend at that time, like, I'm going to take you to Shen Yun. And she was like, fine, do it. Like, just do it already. Like,
take me anywhere, Joe. Take me anywhere.
After a while, it just got to be like, she was so beaten down by the joke. She was like, just fucking take me if you're going to take me.
I miss when you used to talk about me slitting my throat and dying and you talking at my funeral.
I heard that Shen Yun is actually like behind the scenes like a nightmare to work for or something.
I've heard nothing but bad things about the whole situation.
Yeah, it's like the actors are like abused and stuff, or the dancers or whatever. Like I heard terrible things about that show.
I don't know anything factually. I just heard some stuff and I just see the flyers. Yeah.
Look, I don't even know what I heard. I just remember bad stuff around Shen Yun, if I'm being honest with you.
I don't even know what I heard.
Dude, one time I went to a Medieval Times and the actors from Medieval Times were all on strike outside because they were like, we're not getting fair wages. And I was like, oh fuck, I had no idea. just walked right past them.
You're eating a giant turkey leg in front of them, like, I don't care.
Just come out with that fucking tomato soup. Oh. Tell me about these unfair conditions. I feel like it was the same thing for Shen Yun. Oh, God.
This episode is brought to you by United Airlines. When you want to make the most of your vacation, book with United. They're an airline that cares about your travels as much as you do. United is transforming the flying experience with Bluetooth connectivity, screens, power at every seat, and bigger overhead bins to help fit everyone's bag. And with their app, you can skip the bag check line, get live updates, and more. Change the way you fly. Book your next trip today at united.com.
Mothers know all about life's tricky transitions. Thankfully, Ollie helps you prioritize wellness through every age, life stage, or magnificent mood change. Need a multitasking multivitamin that keeps up with you? How about an essential prenatal for you and baby? Ollie's got you through it all. Life's tricky. Your wellness routine shouldn't be. Get what you need at ollie.com.
Anyway, so we go over to Kaylee, and Kaylee is like holding court with a bunch of like older dudes talking about her engineering bullshit. And she's like, oh, you think that's a good chip? That thing doesn't even have 17x flux capacitor shiga-digga-dongs.
I just zoned out when she's just jargoning.
Yeah, and all the guys are like, oh, you are something, Miss Kaylee. Oh. And then one guy asks her to dance, and she's like, I'm in the middle of fucking talking shop, guy. Get out of here. And then she says another joke, and then that guy just kind of sticks around and laughs still. Like, he's like, God damn, this girl is so goddamn charming.
And now this would be a great time to see the other girls being mad at this and then wanting their attention or something.
Yep. Like the head girl goes over to the guy that's asking for Kaylee for a dance, and he like kind of brushes her off. Mm-hmm. That's what we need. Like, dude, this leads to nothing.
You can't start an episode where Mal shits on Kaylee for wanting a dress. She ends up getting the dress to go to the party. And then that's the end of her story, is that she got a chance to wear a dress.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let her do something at the party. Let her be useful. Let her fall for some guy that maybe they run into later in a later scene, like down the line. He'll be traveling and she'll run into this guy and they'll be rescued because this other higher up that she went for and danced with is there. Anything. Let one of the girls be like, all right, we got to put down this ruffled dress girl and try to like, she's stealing the thunder.
Yeah.
There's just nothing. And I feel like that's been our issue with a lot of these episodes, is that they start something and then they just settle it.
Yeah.
It doesn't like permeate through the episode. It doesn't like spin off into something else. Because we're like, oh, she's going to spin off with this guy. And then she's going to have to utilize this guy and convince this guy to give him the stuff. And it'll be a bonding between Mal and Kaylee. But no, we just get her hey, she's actually fitting in at the party. Why? Because some guy came over and just stood up for her for no reason.
Yeah. I will say that I feel like this episode is the most focused on the singular narrative of what they got going on. Like,
oh yeah.
Like Serenity, the first episode, like was so much so that you thought it was like split down the middle in 2 separate episodes. Train Job is 2 separate episodes. Bushwhacked was like 2 separate. This is the one that like has the same, hey, we got this job, and it's the entire episode.
Like, I like the second half of the Serenity episode because it was split in half by like the hours shifts. Yeah. But I like the second half of that, how it sets everything up and lands. But
actually, you know what? This episode does have kind of a split.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, because Kaylee's done. She doesn't have to do anything else the rest of the episode. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, you know what? You're right. Yeah.
Why is Kaylee? Why I had this whole thing about her getting a dress, and it was like, cool, she's at the party, but it doesn't matter that she's at the party.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Like, if Mal showed up at the party without Kaylee, nothing would be different.
Yep.
So that's just not. It's not. It's not my favorite way of storytelling.
I agree with you. So after everybody's loving Kaylee, we go back over to Atherton, and you know, Mal and Inara, their dance is complete, and Atherton goes over and just grabs Inara, and he's like, "Hey, all right." Atherton's getting real jealous of Mal, and he grabs Inara, and he's like, "Come on, Inara, let's go over here." And Mal's like, whoa, calm down, man. Why are you acting like kind of a dick? And then Atherton goes, because she's mine. I paid for her, and you didn't do anything.
Like frothing at the mouth.
Yeah. And then Mal's like, oh, that's interesting that you say that because, and then just decks Atherton because he's being rude. And he defends Inara's honor. And then Atherton comes up from getting this punch and he goes, oh, okay, that's how it is? Well, I accept. And then Mal's like, accept what? What do you fucking, what? And Atherton's like, yeah, you just challenged me to a duel. And I accept. And then Mal's like, all right, let's fucking do this. Like some guy steps in, he's like, the duel shall commence tomorrow morning. And Mal's like, why wait? Let's fucking do it now. He takes off his jacket. Like, let's go. He's like, well, you already took all everybody's pistols. Give me one of them pistols. And they're like, no. We're not barbarians, sir. Didn't you see our floating chandelier? Oh, no. It wouldn't be called dead with a gun. And then Mal's like, all right, fisticuffs it is then. And they're like, no, we're a bit more higher standard than that. We're not barbarians. We're going to have a sword duel tomorrow. And then everyone's like, man, oh man, oh no, that's bad news for Mal. Oh no, there's going to be a sword duel. Oh, Atherton. He's going to sword duel Atherton?
And Mal's
Atherton.
And I was like, what's a sword? A sword?
A sword?
Sword?
Oh, no. It's bad news because dun, 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 Atherton is an expert swordsman. And Harrow goes over to Mal and he's like, bro, you done fucked up, my friend. And Mal's like, why? It's fucking just a sword. I'm not scared of this prissy little rich boy. And Harrow's like, no, you're going to die tomorrow, my friend. It's like, if you want, I'll take your place because you're going to die if you just do this. And then Atherton yells at Inara. He's like, you come with me. You get over here. I'm going to kill your friend. And so they leave, and Mal is like, "Oh fuck!"
Didn't that guy seem like he was going to like fight instead of Mal? I was very confused.
That's what I thought was happening. It was like Mal was gonna he was gonna use Harrow, to fight in Mal's honor or something.
Because I know you haven't seen Game of Thrones, but people listening to this will know the Game of Thrones thing where Tyrion has someone else take over for him in a duel. Pedro Pascal, actually.
Doesn't that happen in John Wick 4?
Oh, yeah. Yes, exactly. So it happens. Like, you have someone else take your spot in the duel. And it seemed like that guy came over and was like, oh, let me take over for you. But I was like, wait, is he? Why would you volunteer for that?
Also, looking at that guy, there's no way he was going to beat Atherton either. That guy was like 700 pounds.
He might be really swift with the blade, though. You know?
All right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was like, why would you even
Switch to the
volunteer to like possibly die for this guy?
It's because they both don't like Badger. And Mal stood up for a companion's honor. And Harrow likes that in a man.
Didn't Harrow say, I'll be like your number 2 also? And I was like, why are you siding with him? Because wouldn't everyone else be like, why are you siding with this random stranger when everyone on this planet, like in that society, people images everything and people know everyone. So if you're one of the higher ups and then you're siding with this like lower or this random guy that just showed up, people be like, why?
Yeah, well, Harrow does say that he doesn't like Atherton either.
Sure. But I mean, like, also, if Atherton dies here, I think Atherton probably has connections in the place.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'd play with the politics a little bit here, but yeah.
I thought that it was now this is where I thought I was going to go. I thought that it was going to be like Kaylee was going to be able to convince all these noblemen that she's been talking to like stop the duel or something.
You thought Kaylee was going to play a role in this episode.
That was my big mistake.
Yeah. No, that would make sense.
Mistake.
That would make so much sense. Bring that guy back that just shit on those other girls and have him be like, and have him be Atherton's dad or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Nah, but
no, Kaylee's done. Don't worry about Kaylee anymore, guys.
Yeah. I was with you. I thought that Harrow was volunteering to fight on behalf of Mal.
Yeah. I was like, what?
Yeah. But then we go back to the ship and Jane's hitting some pull-ups and he hears a knock at his door and he grabs his gun and it's Badger. And Badger, he comes to alert the crew that something has gone awry at this ball. And now the crew is worried. They're all like, wait, what happened? And Badger fills them in that Mal unintentionally challenged this swordsman to a duel. And Badger's like, and now this guy, I don't want it to be known that I'm in league with Mal because he's like besmirching my good name with all these elite people. So I'm going to sit here with you guys. And if I don't know what his plan is.
His plan is to sit here so that they don't interfere with the duel to try to like rescue Mal and then cause a whole kerfuffle, as you would say.
Yeah, kerfuffle.
But also, if Badger doesn't show up, do they even know?
Yeah, they have no idea.
Are there phones? How do they communicate? How did Badger find out this information so quickly?
I mean, there's video calls.
Yeah.
If you recall from earlier in the episode.
That looked like it was recorded, though.
I thought it was recorded, but then Inara is like talking to him.
Oh, yeah, she is, isn't she? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point.
Because I thought the first one was recorded.
Yeah. That actor
just hangs up on that
yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jane pulls his gun on Badger, and then Badger has all of his men, and they have Kaylee held at gunpoint.
How did they get Kaylee?
They didn't want the crew to go down there, but they, a bunch of ruffians, like go and they kidnap Kaylee.
Or she was just walking because I guess the party's over now. I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, just a waste of Kaylee as a character. Now she's just a hostage.
Yep. So then we have Inara. She breaks into Mal's like little prison quarters where he's being kept so he doesn't run away from the duel tomorrow morning.
She's got a futuristic fancy doorknob key thing. The whole doorknob goes on, it goes digital, and it's like...
Yeah, because we can't forget that we're in the future.
Yes.
This is the only evidence that we're in the future.
The floating chandelier and this doorknob. Yeah.
Yeah. So she goes in there and she's like, wow, you really got yourself into some sticky situation now here, Mal. And Mal is like, why the fuck are you even into this guy, Atherton? Like, why do you want to be so attached with him? And Inara's like, don't worry about my business dealings. I know a way out. We're going to get you out of here and you're going to escape. And Mal's like, I don't want to escape. I never fucking back down from a fight. And Inara's like, yes, you do. You do that all the time. And Mal's like, well, not this time.
This is a line that has to come second season.
Yeah.
We're 4 episodes in.
We
don't know. We don't know that he backs out of fights.
Yeah, has he backed out of a fight so far?
It's too soon.
Yeah, I don't remember him ever. I don't know if he's backed out of a fight. Oh, yeah, he did. When they got into that fight on Independence Day or Unification Day or whatever.
He got
into that fight.
Yeah, no,
Wash saved his ass.
It's 4 episodes in. We don't have enough established for this line to have the weight that it has.
Yeah.
Like, you could do this end of the season or next season, but you can't do on the 4. We've watched 3 episodes of the show. For other people, this is
hold on.
Right?
We've technically watched if we're going by the way that this aired, we've watched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is episode 6 in the order that it's aired.
This is episode 6 in the order that it's aired?
Yeah, on Fox.
So they skipped over a couple more episodes and put this one. What is going on with the order of this show?
The original air date of this one was November 1st, and episodes 6, 7, and 8 were aired before this one.
Why is the whole season out of order?
Ask the Fox executives, Vance.
Okay. All right. I'll give it a pass then if you've watched. So we know he's going to run away from a battle in the next 2 episodes that we watch, I guess.
But this is the intended order, the way that we're watching it.
Yes.
So it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
With the intended order, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Mal is like, well, I'm not backing down from this fight because he insulted you and he's a real fucking asshole and I just want to beat him up. And Inara's like, but you're not gonna, because he's an expert swordsman and you don't know how to do fucking anything with a sword. You can't take down this column. Like, you're gonna get killed. And then Mal's like, I'm not gonna get killed because you're gonna teach me how to sword fight. And I was like, Inara knows how to sword fight? When was that established?
Well, that's the new point of the episode now, because we're done with Kaylee. So
we're
now
done with Badger's job, kind of.
Yeah.
It's still in the background. It's lingering in the background.
Not a priority at all. Not even something I was even thinking about whether. I did not care whether or not he landed Badger's job. There's no stakes whatsoever. If the guy said no, they just don't do the job.
Yeah. So anyway, now Inara is going to teach him how to sword fight because they have some lovely fencing swords in this room. Get a little Zorro situation going on here. So then we go back to the Serenity and the crew. They want to know, they're discussing, like, what should we do if Mal doesn't win this duel? We have to plan a way to escape and beat up Badger and his men. And somebody is like, we should all just rush him all at the same time. And then Zoe's like, no, we need to pick them off one by one. And then Jane's like, we need a diversion, actually. And I think that, Zoe, you should get fucking naked. And Wash is like, what, bro?
Right? Of course, he hasn't been like making any sexual advances towards Kaylee or River or Inara.
Well,
but Zoe,
you would never make a sexual advance toward. Well, River, they say crazy chicks, they're the best in bed. So who knows?
I can't tell how old she's supposed to be either.
Yeah, me neither.
I know she's old enough, but I don't know how old she's supposed to be in universe.
Old enough to party. Do you think they have fucking age of consent rules in this old-timey Western?
That's the only thing they have.
We're not savages, but we have sword duels and prissy bullshit fighting.
Now let's get our slaves over here.
Yeah, right.
Then Jane goes, I can get naked.
Yeah. I like that Jane line.
Yeah.
That was a good Jane line. And Wash is like, ew, bro, what? No. So then Book, he walks over and he puts his hand on Simon's shoulder because Book has noticed that River's walking around like a fucking lunatic. La, 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 la. And then Jane sees this and he's like, oh, this could be the diversion that we're looking for, because remember earlier in the episode, she was acting like a crazy fucking person. Hopefully she just acts like a crazy fucking person right now, and then we can all distract the Badger's men.
Well, I think they were more concerned that she was revealing herself because they don't want Badger to know that they have
the fugitive,
valuable.
prisoner thing.
Because
too.
Badger would definitely trade them in for that reward.
Ooh, 100%. But Badger sees her and he's like, "Hey, love, what's your story? What are you doing on this ship?" And then River just goes full Cockney accent. She starts mocking Badger, and she somehow, in all of her infinite wisdom, knows every bit about Badger's backstory, but she's saying it cryptically, like Drusilla-ish.
This scene just really just threw me for a loop. Because she's talking about Badger and his and he looks like he's shook. Like he's seeing a ghost or something.
Absolutely is shook. Because she knows all about it. He's like, "Oh, you think that you're something, love, don't you? Yeah, I know you. You come from a small town and you do a little bit of petty crime. And I know you're trying to make a big scene here in the big city, but we all know that you're just a little man." And Badger's like,
who knew we get Drusilla in Firefly? Yeah, but this happens, and then Badger, she walks away. They don't care about where she walks to. It's a giant ship.
mm-hmm.
She could just be going to get guns, guys. I don't know. But he's like, "I like her."
Yeah.
What?
She's got spunk. She's got moxie, that kid.
Didn't ask what her name was. Who is she? How did you guys run about her? Don't want to talk to her more about where exactly she came from. Like, he has a Cockney accent, but Earth hasn't existed. So where did he grow up?
Dude.
Did they all just take over their own planet?
Yeah, it's Cockney, Cocknicketus. Cocknicketus. The planet of Cockney.
The moon of Cockney? The Cockney moon?
Yeah, man, I guess so.
Yeah, okay.
I do like Badger's little hat. Badger fucking rules. I like Badger a lot, man.
And he's got really pronounced canines too, which is interesting. No, he's an interesting character. They haven't done too much with him yet, but I like the potential that he still has.
Yeah.
And I also like that he kind of shuts down Mal a lot. He's on the same par as Mal. He's not like some idiot.
Yeah, he does have the upper hand on Mal sometimes. Like he reminds me of Willie the Snitch from Buffy. Like he's that kind of character, the little roach character that I always just fucking love. Those little roach motherfuckers, man.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So we go back to Inara teaching Mal how to sword fight, and
I just gotta go back to that scene. That was pointless. That river scene's pointless.
Yeah.
It doesn't prove how smart she is. It doesn't explain her craziness. It's just it feels like, hey, this actor can do this, and we haven't had her do anything. Let's give her a scene to do some acting.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like to me.
Well, Jane is like, "Oh man, that was the diversion that we could have used to get the jump on these people, and nobody did shit. Fuck."
So what's the point of it then?
Yeah.
How was that going to be a diversion to get a jump on anybody? She's standing there talking. I don't think the other guys were riveted by it too with the guns. They're like,
yeah. I gotta say, we're nitpicking the fuck out of this episode, and there's a lot of pointless stuff. But so far, I think this is probably my favorite episode of the show.
Okay.
I think this one's probably the best one in terms of getting everything kind of together, and there's character moments. Learn a little bit about people's backstories, maybe.
I think I'm more disappointed in the lack of the character stuff that is happening. And I love Jane, and I want more Jane.
I also, and I see your critiques of this episode, and they make total sense, and I'm with you. But no, so far I'm this one was all right for me.
As a flow, it moves.
Yeah. So we go back to Inara teaching Mal, and she's like, "Look, you're not strong enough. You can't swing the sword the way that you're doing it. I know every move that you're going to make because you keep attacking in the exact same way. You need to be unpredictable and fast." And Mal goes, "Would they teach you that at Horror Academy?" And Inara's like, "Bro, I'm trying to help you."
I was like, "Damn, dude." It was one thing when you said that in front of Book, but man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Inara is very insulted by this. And she's like, what the fuck, dude? I'm trying to help you. You're going to die without my help.
If she would have killed him right here, it would have been, I would have loved this show. If she just slit his throat right here.
Yeah.
And then it becomes Inara's show. That's why they gave him the opening BO, because it's the last one.
But she's like, dude, I'm trying to help you, and you're just like insulting me. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And Mal's like, I'm not insulting you. No. I respect you. I don't respect your job.
Which is like the weirdest defense, because she says, and I loved her comeback to him calling her a whore yet again. She says, you'll lay a man out for implying them a whore, but you keep calling me one to my face.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, dude. And he's like, no, not, you're not a whore. Your job's a whore job.
Yeah.
Like, all right, dude.
So then Inara talks to Mal about how, like, hey, dude, you like never follow the rules, and that's why it always gets you in trouble, and you gotta fucking stop with this stuff. You keep getting into trouble because you don't follow the rules. And Mal is like, well, you follow the rules, and it makes you a slave. So who here is the real cool guy? Rule follower, whore. And Inara's like, okay.
Rule following whore. I'm sorry. I have a couple more whores stuck in my throat. I gotta keep saying.
Yeah. I mean, it is an interesting, like, philosophical debate, kind of, because Mal is like, yeah, well, I mean, I know that your job is legal, but you're about to, like, volunteer to be this guy's permanent slave companion. And yeah, I may be an outside the law smuggler, but I'm a free man, and you can't take the sky from me.
If I believed at all that she was actually considering this, then the episode kind of could work for me. At no point did I think she'd ever consider staying here.
Yeah.
From all I know about her character from the 3 to 4 episodes I've seen.
But earlier, Mal kind of, he had a little chat with Inara about how, like, yeah, I don't have any right to tell you what to do with your job and with your life. But here he's like, look, I know I don't have any right to tell you, but, like, don't take this Atherton's deal to be his permanent companion. I know I have no right, but just don't do it. Like, if this guy kills me too, I don't like that. And I don't want you to be hanging out with the guy that killed me. I got a beef with that.
That is funny. That's a funny delivery for that.
Yeah. And, but you can tell, like, he's having a hard time looking at her because, like, these are his true feelings. And, like, you know, he's a guy with a heart of gold that just keeps calling a chick a whore.
Yeah. I mean, right on the level of Spike calling Buffy a bitch multiple times. It's just the same, same thing. Yeah.
But then Inara's like, I'm going to go. I'm going to go back to Atherton before he wakes up, because he gets up early for these duels. So good luck. See ya.
Good thing I taught you 2 moves of sword fighting. Good luck.
Yep. Yeah. Then Mal's just standing there swinging his sword to nothing. He had like a curved, like, belly dancer's sword that, you know, that they put on their head when they're balancing and belly dancing at the start. And then he's got a fencing sword. And
because the one got stuck in the column, right?
Yeah. So then it's the next day, and Atherton shows up to the duel, and he's looking mighty fancy. He's got his Sunday best, his murdering best on. And
can I just say, this fight starts without any fanfare or announcement or anything, and I was like, wait, that's just it?
Yeah, for as many people that were at the party that saw this duel be, you know, accepted, there's only like 6 people here.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody wants to go to a murder.
You don't want to go to a murder?
Not
you
after.
Want to go to a murder?
Not first thing in the morning.
That's how early we talking? It's on the weekend. I'm not getting up early on the weekend.
It takes like those women like 2 hours to get in those dresses that they're in that morning.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. I'm not going to wake up early on the weekend to watch a murder. Fuck that. Can we do this in the afternoon?
High noon? I love that it's like an old West thing, but they're like, how to make it futuristic? sword fight?
I thought they were going to be digital swords too. Like
lightsabers?
Zero. Oh god. But then yeah, Mal shows up and Harrow's in Mal's corner and the duel starts like just like you said, little to no fanfare. They just like take out their swords and they're like, all right, we doing this? All right, let's go.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, it's happening. Sure.
Yeah, there's not like a guy that's like, all right, ready? 1, 2, 3. It's just like, all right, let's go.
No setting up the rules or anything. No.
Right? You'd figure there'd be some rules.
Yeah.
Nope. But for the first little bit, looks like Mal's kind of holding his own. And Mal's like, oh, this is horrible. He's just being toyed with.
Inara says that, yeah.
Yeah. Inara says it. Yeah, sorry. And Atherton eventually slices Mal a couple times in the arm. And then Atherton pulls this move where he takes his sword and he puts it behind his back. And Mal is like, oh, now's my chance. And then Inara's like, no, he's tricking you. No, you're falling right for his trap. And Atherton scoots out of the way and stabs Mal like in the side.
How dumb is Mal?
He's real dumb.
Like,
dude, he's never seen a sword before.
He was like, oh, he put his sword behind his back. That means he's letting down his... What?
Yeah.
So then, you know what should have happened?
What?
Mal should have thrown his sword at and just killed him instantly. We should have had an anticlimactic like Indiana Jones moment where he just throws the sword at him and they go, never seen that before.
Yeah.
And
that's the element of surprise that Inara was talking about.
Yeah. That would have been cool.
Yeah, I was expecting some kind of underhanded tactic like Mal throws dirt in his eyes or something to show like, yeah, I might be a lowly, scrubby guy, but you can't get the best of me because I got street smarts. But
what happens is even worse. What happens is my least favorite thing that possibly could happen here.
Yeah, like I feel like Mal throwing dirt in his eyes is more honorable than what does happen.
Right? Absolutely.
Because Atherton stabs Mal in the back, in the gut or whatever, and he's like hurt pretty bad. And then Inara's like, stop, Atherton, please. I accept your offer. Just please don't kill Mal. Just don't kill him. And then Atherton looks at Inara and he's like, will you actually? You'll do that for me? And then Mal just gets up and just stabs.
Yeah, it's like Atherton has Mal pinned down, breaks his sword. Like, so now he just has him. He can just kill him right there. And then that's when
I will say Mal does take the sword and throws it at him at this point. I think he takes the broken side of the sword and throws it at Atherton.
That's after Inara does her thing.
Oh,
because he's pinned down and he steps on the sword and breaks a blade off. And then that's when Inara goes, wait, I will stay with you. And then he looks over like, really? And then that's when Mal gets up and either cuts him on the face because he's got a big slash on his face or something, and it pins him down. I guess grabs Atherton's sword now. Yeah. And then he has him pinned down. And I'm just like, wait, that's how he got the upper hand?
Yeah.
Shouldn't that be like against the rules or something?
Yeah, DQ.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I guess not. Well, they never did go over the rules. There's a guy at Airbud rules flipping through a book. Well, it doesn't say in the rule book that he can't be distracted.
There's nothing in the rule book that says a dog can't be in a duel.
Yeah. So, yeah, Mal is now standing above him. He's got Atherton pinned on the ground. And Harrow's there, like, frothing at the mouth, like, finish it! Kill him! Please, kill this fucking piece of shit! And Mal goes, no, I'm not going to kill him. And you know what? And I actually like this quote. I like this little couple of things where Mal is standing on top of him and he's got the sword pinned to Atherton. And he's like, mercy is the mark of a great man. And then Mal just slices him 2 more times. Like, in the leg or the arm? He
stabs him in the gut like 2 more times. So he like pokes him.
Okay. Yeah, he stabs him a couple times after he goes, mercy is the mark of a great man, stabs him and he goes, well, I guess I'm just a good one. I like that.
I would like that if he didn't get the upper hand because Inara distracted a guy who had him dead to rights.
Well, I hated that. And then I hate what happens next.
Yeah.
Inara like grabs Mal and she's like, and I was lying about taking that offer. And then Atherton's like, yo, what the fuck? You know what? I am a well-connected guy. Get ready to starve. You're never going to work in this town again, Missy. And then Inara's like, I already put out a black mark on you and no companion is ever going to work with you again.
And then
I wrote in my note that she hit the reverse on him.
Well, he goes, I should have uglied you up so no one would want you.
Yeah.
And then either that other guy, the Lord or whoever they're working for.
Harrow.
Yeah, he's like, good luck trying to get women with your charm now that you can't, now that you're blackballed.
Personality.
It's like, what?
And then Harrow sees this and he's like, you know what? I like your moxie, Mal. I will hire you for the job that Badger set us up with. And
I'm
I was
like, this guy's bleeding out and can even fly a ship?
Right? He's bleeding out. He's like the most underhanded, dirty dog. Like, what makes you, when you see this, what makes you be like, this is a good business? Like, he'll fuck you over just as quickly, Harrow. What are you talking about?
Man, I just hated that that's how he got the upper hand, is that Inara distracted him, and then he gets up and then he talks about how great of a guy he is. I'm like, yeah, don't kill him because you didn't win the fight.
Yeah.
You lost.
And Inara's not even going to hold up her end of the bargain. I didn't
like any of this. I did not like any of the way this ended right here.
I did like that mercy is the mark of a great man line, though.
I would like that if he somehow got the upper hand on his own through some other means. It just once it happened after that, I was already checked. I was like checked out. You don't get a chance to talk about how great you are when.
Yeah. And like I said, I would have been totally down for him using underhanded tactics on his own. Throw dirt in his eye, sweep the leg, something.
Throw a punch, throw a kick. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do something.
Pull an Indiana Jones, just take out a gun and shoot him, and then like hold it against anybody else and be like, is anybody going to say shit? That's what I thought.
Or somehow know how to sword fight a little bit and be like, I was just pretending to not know how to.
He was in the fucking army. How does he not know how to do like combat skills?
I mean, there's people in the army now that would not know how to swing a sword, Joe.
Yeah, but this is the future. I mean, I don't know, man. There's got to be something that they could have done where he would have had underhanded tactics.
I just needed something other than her throwing out. Again, because I don't believe ever that she was ever planning on staying, and they made it seem like she would. If she was throughout the episode saying, oh, I'm never going to stay with him, then she said, yes, I'll stay with him, then that would add like some tension to the thing. Like, oh shit, he has to like do something. But no, she says it and it's just a distraction. It's not a Mal says, no, don't do it, Inara. I'm going to die. You don't go with him. Like there's nothing there.
You know what they could have done? They could have had this duel in the same venue where the party was at. Mal throws the sword, knocks the chandelier down. The chandelier falls on Atherton. That's how he gets the upper hand.
It'll be useful for the chandelier reveal.
Yeah.
There's just so much stuff that's unused in this setup that is, again, like watching the episode in the flow, fine. But when you have to like talk about it and like think about some stuff, it's just like, man, they just missed some things that I would have liked personally.
Yeah. So yeah, they walk away. Harrow's going to give the job to Mal, and so Mal and Inara return to the ship just as Jane and Wash and all of them are planning to start their diversion. And they're like, hey, you're back. And Mal's like, hey, Badger, we got the deal. We got the job. So get the fuck off my ship. And Badger's like, all right, good job. And he walks off the ship, and Book sees Mal, and Book is like, are you badly hurt? And Mal's like, oh, fuck yeah, dude, look at me.
Have they been sitting there all night?
I guess so.
Okay.
Roasting some s'mores.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mal sits down. I mean, you would think that Simon would be like, hey, let's get you to the infirmary stat. But no, he sits on his little lawn chair for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, I'm hurt real bad, but, we got the job. So then we have Kaylee walking around the ship, and she goes to her room, and she sits down, she turns on some classical music, and she just looks up at her big, fancy, floofy dress, and it's like, kind of like, oh, I got to live the life of a rich woman for one night.
For half an episode, and it amounts to absolutely nothing. No one on the ship views me differently. None of them even saw me in the dress. It's just, there's just so much low-hanging fruit there that they just didn't do anything with. Like, we don't even get Jane to make a comment on her dress.
Yeah. Just have him be like, whoa.
Yeah.
Just have that, like, one moment of, whoa.
Whoa. Kaylee, who knew you could look like a woman?
Yeah.
Like some
kind of boneheaded thing.
Yeah.
Say.
And then she takes it as like flattery, but it's so dumb and jock. Like, and then she just doesn't do anything in the party. She eats some strawberries, talks about ships, which we've seen her do before. Like, give her another layer. And the other layer's like, she likes pretty things, so she's a woman. Okay.
Yeah. She's a grease monkey, but she's still a girl at heart, Vance.
Yeah. Okay, like,
she likes pink things.
That's okay. Now, how does she fit in with the team too? And you know who else doesn't get anything? Wash. We're so many episodes.
He hasn't gotten anything.
Alan Tudyk's
just obsessed with his fucking wife.
Yeah, a loser.
Fucking loser. You love your wife.
Just yeah. That's I'm like, let's have them all go to the party. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Let them all go to the party.
But then we have Mal and Inara. They're sharing a drink of wine together, and they debrief about the events of the episode, basically. And then Inara is grateful that Mal defended her honor, kind of, but not really, because he called her a whore still. So she's like, I mean, I get what you were going for, and I guess I'm kind of grateful.
Then she said she was never really going to go with him. And I'm like, yeah, of course you weren't.
Yeah.
You don't fly around on Serenity to just like be tied down to the first person you meet on the planet.
Well, Mal also is kind of like, I should have never tried to go into your world. Like, I don't fit in there. That's not for me. And yeah, I'm sorry. And Inara's like, yeah, I never was going to go with Atherton. And Mal's like, oh yeah, and why's that? Wink, wink. Is it because of your friendly neighborhood Captain Reynolds? And she's like, nah, somebody's got to keep Kaylee out of trouble. Wink, wink. It might have something a little bit to do with your friendly neighborhood Captain Reynolds. And Mal's like, well, of course you didn't want to leave. I mean, why would you want to leave this lovely Serenity ship? And then we cut to a wide shot where there's just like a bunch of cows on the ship. Yeah. And I guess that's the cargo that Harrow wants to transport.
They're transporting cattle. Which is interesting reveal, practical, not at all. They don't have any way to do that. They don't have any food for cattle unless they're dropping this thing off immediately. If this is an hour-long trip, this doesn't even. It's whatever. It's just for the reveal.
I think this scene needed one more line. After Mal is like, why would you want to leave Serenity? And then you cut to like seeing all the cows. Just have Jane walk through the background and be like, oh, it smells like Galram Gose in here. And then that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is I think the scene in when they're talking about like Horror Academy, that was the scene where I was like, I'm not loving the acting either. And that was a scene where the acting really needed. I just wasn't, I wasn't buying the chemistry between Mal and Inara. And I have not, it's just not working for me.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think that it's more of the problem of the lady playing Inara. Her acting in this episode is just bad, I think. Because Mal, like Nathan Fillion's still like charming, roguish guy.
He's fine. He's not blowing me away. Like I'm trying to think. Like I've seen him in a lot of other stuff, a little bit of other stuff, and he can be funny and charming, and like he has like this thing. But it's something about he's still too Caleb-y for me here or something.
Oh, it's too Caleb.
It's too understated. Everything's so like we're coming off of like watching Buffy and Angel, and everyone's like more animated, and here everyone's more toned down a bit,
except for Jane.
Yeah, but Jane has like lines and stuff, but everyone is more somber in tone.
Yeah, a lot of things are delivered flatly. Like Zoe is also just like flat.
Oh my god, she's so, and we watched her in Angel, and it's just she's got like range, like she can do stuff. And this, she's just so one note. Her character also has not been given anything really, dude. She's just like a follow orders number 2. But I'm like, what are your aspirations, your goal? You know, you also fought in that war that you lost, but you don't seem to have the same like brown coat allegiance that Mal does. And why is that? And where can we talk about that? Yeah, I know we're early in the series, but it still just feels like we're 4 to 6 episodes in.
I also feel like this is like just a nitty gritty like acting thing. Her character only has like 2 stances. She's either standing with her arms crossed or with her hands behind her back, like, you know, at attention soldier. Like that's all we've really gotten from her, aside from being sweaty as fuck in the bed. Like that was kind of the most personality she's ever shown.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm going to bed.
But it's like, even when they had to pretend, like Mal and her had to pretend to be a married couple, she didn't even get a chance to do anything like, okay, now we got to go undercover. Yeah. That's why I was excited to see this episode and see the whole gang infiltrate this party and just see them all around there doing like some type of heist and seeing how they work together as a group, how they can like get in and out of stuff, how they would interact with completely different people to establish their characters. And we don't get, I mean, Kaylee just talks about engine stuff again, and it works. And I get it. I get the guys are like, man, I finally can talk to a girl about stuff that we care about. But other than that, it's just like she didn't add anything to the story when she went to the ball.
I feel like in terms of performance, like, crazily enough, Wash seems to have the most personality, and like he delivers lines differently. Like Alan Tudyk, he seems to be the comic relief. He seems to be the comic relief that they don't let be comic relief. And then they leave that to Jane to have like one-liners. And he's also a funny one. Yeah, I feel like Jane has some good, decent range where he's like the angry hothead guy, but then also some comic relief. But like, just in terms of delivering lines flatly, like Nathan Fillion's delivering most of everything flatly. Like there's no higher level, there's no lower level, except for maybe like when he tells her like not to take Atherton's deal. Like Inara is just a flat line. Zoe's a flat line. At least Alan Tudyk and whoever's playing Jane, like they're going up and down. Just in terms of like to break up the monotony. But even Simon.
Oh, Simon.
Except for that one scene where he like screamed at Mal, which you were like, this is terrible acting.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
But like Book, as much as I like Book, he is a flat line.
Exactly. Yeah.
And River, I mean, fuck River. I'm done with River.
I'm like, let's just have a full-on River episode and like get to the bottom of it, or like this was bad River. We didn't learn anything new about Wash and Zoe. Yes, they're married and they want to have sex with each other when they can. That's it. We've learned that already. Like what?
Yeah.
I need to see what Wash does. Like, what is his thing?
He gets worried when Zoe's off the ship. It's my wife!
But I'll joke about her being killed so that Jane can be captain. All right.
I also think that's kind of why I like Badger a lot. Badger seems to have levels, too.
Yeah, I like that Badger was smart enough to know, hey, there's something on this, this is Alliance material, and I'm not taking it. So it's like self-preservation, smart enough. He threatens Mal, but they have a antagonistic. He has a relationship that I thought like Simon. I thought it was going to be like Simon was really going to be that antagonist to Mal, from the first episode.
Yeah.
And that doesn't seem to be the case.
No, he's just a worried little bitch boy. Like, honestly, like, he's such a little worried bitch boy.
And Book's whole thing is like, Mal, you're actually a good guy. And my job is to say that I know you're a good guy.
Yeah. And Inara, you may be a companion, but you're a good girl. Who's a good girl?
And Kaylee, you're pretty in no engine.
Yeah.
I guess.
He hasn't, he thinks Jane's kind of a jackass.
Oh, I mean, everybody should think that, yeah.
Yeah. And Simon, you're an honorable man. And we'll look after River. I feel bad for this River. Wash and Zoe, I'll stay away from you. You guys seem like a couple horn dogs. But yeah, a lot of flatness so far.
Yeah, just, I know.
But that is where Shindig ends. You got anything else to say about this one, Vance?
I'm ready to go. I got my key. Now where'd I park Serenity?
Oh, man. What's worse is it gets stuck in my head. It gets stuck in my head after watching it, and then I come up with my own that kind of stuff too. And I'm just like, oh, God. All right. Next episode is titled Safe. Bank heist. They're going to pull the whole fucking, Fast and Furious 5. They're going to pull it through the city. On Serenity, they're going to be trying to fly off. They got the safe tumbling through the city.
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to go a different way. I'm going to say this is a River episode. They got to keep her safe from something.
Sounds good. Well, that's a wrap, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. Hop on Discord. Let us know what you thought about the episode. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/Boys Watching Buffy. We're doing Boys Watching Angel. Be on the lookout for weird science coming up on my birthday. Birthday, November 21st. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Boys Watching Buffy. Email is boyswatchingbuffy@gmail.com. If you want to get a shout out, Apple Podcast 5-star rating and review, Spotify 5-star rating, take a screenshot of it, send it in to us, or get us something off of that Amazon wish list. I think that we've got enough energy drinks for a while, but if you want to fucking send in some more, we haven't gotten those Zoas.
And there's some other stuff on that list that are...
There's other stuff.
Yeah.
There's some books because Vance is a nerd. There's a pop socket, I think, that I put on there. Maybe some anime. I don't know.
I love that I'm a nerd because of a book that you're talking about a pop socket.
Yeah. It's an anime DVDs, yeah. But Blu-rays, whatever. The Oculus, the Nintendo Switch, that's still there.
That's still there.
Is the Oculus... I don't know, but anyway.
What's the new one? The meta thing. The new one.
I don't even know, man. I have no idea. I think there's a couple of Switch games on there too, but whatever.
Joe has a Switch. I do not. That is
yes. So get on that. We need Vance to have a Switch, so he can be happy.
I'm never gonna be happy, Joe.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is a wrap. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for next time when we talk about Safe.
Mercy is the mark of a great man. Guess I'm just a good man. Well, I'm all right.
Seltzer Kings.
Podcasts.